Hey there everyone, it's time for another West Coast Racers construction update over at Six Flags Magic Mountain. First thing I noticed was that the candy store has been painted white and purple. This is one of the first thematic changes that we've seen for the new area. A majority of the buildings on the Apocalypse side are going to be the same based on the renderings we've seen. It's one of those situations where they're going to put new paint on the buildings to freshen things up. However, the footprint of the buildings will remain the same, but we have seen that the exterior will look different for some portions. Unfortunately, there's not really any good angles to see for the buildings, so we'll have to wait and see. And over by Ninja, it is closed for some reason. I saw a bunch of ladders and other stuff around the station, so hopefully they can get this ride running back up again soon. They are adding a good amount of things to the land, but remember, this is based off the renderings the park provided. They still have to add the planters in the middle of the roadway, the cars sitting along the road, and build the ground up station. Now the part that's most exciting are the planters in the middle. I really hope this doesn't get cut from the plans because a huge issue with Cyclone Bay and the rest of the new areas in the park is the lack of shade. This will make the new area look nice and cool. It wouldn't be nice to be in the area with the black asphalt and 100-degree Southern California weather. Also, they still need to add those cars off to the side, mimicking parking spaces for these unique race cars. I imagine the cars will only be viewed from a distance and a fence will restrict guests from coming up to them, similar to the situation in Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland, where guests aren't allowed to walk underneath the Millennium Falcon because a low fence sits in front of them. Finally, we can't forget about the station for the actual ride itself. They must be waiting on some kind of permit to begin construction on the building frame. They have finished the housing for the power boxes, which is inside those gray brick walls. This is probably the neatest looking structure of the new area. The park hasn't built an actual station with walls and a roof for a coaster since 2011's Green Lantern First Flight, which is now being removed. Full Throttle opened as just a concrete platform, so this is a big moment for the park and the company siding with them on this project, West Coast Customs. I'm sure they'll want this area to look amazing, and I really like the plans for this area, and hopefully the park goes above and beyond for it. We even have Apocalypse testing, which is a great sign. I was finally able to get some footage because it has been running the past few days. At this point, we are just waiting for the area to open up because Apocalypse looks like it's ready to go. There was even someone riding it up front looking like they're having the time of their life. And in case you forgot, Apocalypse went down for refurbishment even before Cyclone Bay was closed down. The main focus of the closure was retracking the final turn that goes around the queue. Also, they got rid of the third switchback area that was right when you entered to the ride. The area hasn't housed a line since the ride was Terminator Salvation, so it makes sense as to why they got rid of it. It's possible that Apocalypse will open ahead of time because the Roaring Rapids walkway is going to open up soon. Why it's going to open up is the park is still going to use their biggest Fright Fest maze investment, and that is on the former Deja Vu plot, Aftermath 2 Chaos Rising. So what I think is going to happen is that the Roaring Rapids walkway will open up and just take you to the maze in Apocalypse. It'll just be a dead-end, out-and-back path. Fright Fest starts on Saturday, September 14th, and the new West Coast Racers area definitely isn't going to be ready. That's probably why they added the pavement to half of the new area. Here's a look at the new wooden fence added in between the Preview Center and the Jetstream exit. Now the view of the area is blocked when you're entering from this side. Although I'm sure it was to hide the backstage elements of West Coast Racers, and they'd want the grand reveal to be walking under the coaster structure. Moving over to the drone footage provided by the Santa Clarita Drone, we can see the street has been paved throughout half of the area, which is another element we see from the renderings. The park is also redoing the restrooms by demolishing the old ones and building them new from the ground up. Here is the wooden framework of the new restrooms. It's great to see the park making an investment like this for their restroom facilities. They did the same thing by renovating them in front of a Justice League last year. The rest of the area looks mostly the same, and it's only a matter of time before we start seeing some neat thematic elements go up. The area is coming along nicely, and I think everyone can agree that this is miles better than what the rundown Cyclone Bay was. This was the last area in the park that needed a desperate touch-up. The park essentially touched up every area of the park starting in 2011 when they redid Gotham City and made it into DC Universe. West Coast Racers has a long way to go, but we are getting closer and closer. If I had to make a prediction onto when this thing will open, it would be before December ends. It's been almost impossible to gauge a prediction on when this ride will open, since they've made tremendous progress on some weeks, and other weeks there's been no movement at all. Well, that's all for this West Coast Racers construction update. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to comment your thoughts down below, and subscribe to the channel for more updates on West Coast Racers.